guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt and this is Beard of Darkness Book Reviews, and today I'm just going to get right into it. We're going to be doing a book review of The Reason That I Got on Booktube, and it's a very important book to me. The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. It is a epic fantasy. This is a Norse Inspired epic fantasy, and really what got me hooked right off the bat was the beginning and how John Gwynne is showing and he's not telling. He opens the book in the most beautiful way. A family hunting with their young son and teaching him that death is part of life. And man, that just really struck me in the heart for some reason, and it furthered my interest in just devouring this book. I find that the Norse Inspired part of this book and their foundations and the honor system and the battle fame that they chase and the respect given between warriors isn't something we see in today's society. So it's nice to imagine a time when that was something that happened, and I wish we saw more of that in our day-to-day. It follows 3 different points of view, and the chapters are named after the point of view that you'll be referencing in that chapter. So for instance, there's 3 different characters: Orca, Varg, Elvar. These are the 3 main characters. Now there are a few different secondary characters. Orca is the mother figure point of view in this book, and she finds herself fighting for what she lives her life for, what she would give her life for, and what she's dedicated herself to. As she starts off with her family and teaching her son things like hunting and living life as a young man, and we find out that a couple things happen. No spoilers here. The second point of view is Elvar. This is a female point of view. She is part of the Bloodsworn, and this is a group of battle fame chasing warriors, mercenaries. The second point of view is Elvar. This is a female point of view. She is part of the Bloodsworn, and this is a group of battle fame chasing warriors, mercenaries. Speaking of Elvar and her battle fame chasing ways, along with the Bloodsworn, which, like I said, is the band of mercenaries, warriors that she is a part of, there are larger than life, epic monsters, gods in this book. And I mean, that's not spoiling anything. You look at the cover. It's pretty much the biggest dragon in comparison to the size of the human on the front cover. It's amazing. And from there we go on to the third point of view, Varg. He is a guy that used to be a former thrall, which, if you don't know what a thrall is, it is basically a slave. And he finds himself on this misplaced adventure. He doesn't necessarily mean to end up where he does. And through this, you learn that he's on a quest for vengeance. A few different positives. The Norse inspiration, the 3 points of view that at first may be a little disorienting, finally start becoming a whole picture. And the third, I would say, is also partly a negative too. I'll explain. Throughout the book, because of the Norse inspiration, you're going to find yourself not understanding the words that he uses. The vocabulary is very heavy Norse inspired, but he does include a glossary. I used my phone, but you can flip to the back and use the glossary too. Now, the only negative I have is what I also mentioned in my positives part, which was the glossary and needing the glossary because of the vocabulary he used. It's very heavily influenced by the Norse language, but after a couple times of seeing these words, it becomes a positive from a negative. At first, you have to stop reading, you have to look it up, flip to the back of the book, but eventually you're glad that he uses these words because they're descriptive in the way that they need to be for his novel in this setting being that it's Norse inspired, I wouldn't have it any other way. So honestly, at the end of the day, I don't see this as a negative. Alright guys, now this is part of the video where I'm going to give you my review. If you've forgotten what the cover looks like, I want to remind you because it's pretty epic. Look at that little tiny human and how big that dragon is. Anyway, I'm going to give this an absolute 5 stars. I've been very lucky since starting this channel. I don't know if I've given less than a 5 stars, and I'm not just handing those out. I'm trying to be very critical. I've just honestly been reading some stellar books. I want to also give my reason for this 5 star. John Gwynne is a poetic writer. He writes in a way that shows and doesn't tell. Sure, I'm sure you're tired of hearing that when you get a review of a book, but it's the truth. He starts this book in a way that you can put yourself in the cool, crisp air with an animal in your sights, and you can really get the feeling of being in the woods in that time and understanding what is trying to be taught to the young man, being taught that death is a part of life. So with his writing style, his prose, his ability to storytell, the visceral descriptions, the action scenes that are brilliant, I just had to give this a 5 stars, and I'm really looking forward to reading The Hunger of the Gods. In fact, I do want to make sure to shout out, speaking of The Hunger of the Gods, I'm going to be doing a community book group, a read-along and chat, like a forum, with the Discord link to the Library of the Sacred Keep will be below this video, and I hope to see you guys there. I would also like to ask if you enjoyed the content that I've made. I would absolutely love for you to subscribe, like, comment down. It helps the channel grow. Until next time, guys, stay imaginative.